The question is, can the Australian Investment Council work with its members, serve as a forum to determine if the private equity funds, venture capital funds, the GPs, and the investors in those funds, the limited partners, the LPs, can work together to reduce the greenhouse gases that are emitted in this sector, in this industry, by its members? That's the simple question we want to try and come up with an answer to at the end of the hour. So why is it that we're asking that question? Well, as ESG becomes more and more important, as there's more and more focus on ESG by the private equity and venture capital funds to become more sustainable, they're focusing on how they're working with their portfolio. How can their portfolio become more sustainable from an ESG perspective? But a question is, the GPs, they need to walk the walk, not just chalk the talk. And the way to do that is to become more sustainable themselves, to become more impactful from an ESG perspective. And if you think about it, right, for a fund, a private equity, venture capital, infrastructure, whatever, but the fund, they really have one key way to become more sustainable from an environmental perspective, and that's to reduce their air travel. It's to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that they directly contribute as a result of their operations. And so we're going to explain that in a moment through Tony Wise and Turnkey. So the question now is, we've had this amazing experiment for the last year or so that COVID has forced us all to reduce, if not stop outright, our air travel for quite a bit of time. And we want to know, what has that meant in terms of GP members? What has that reduction in air travel? So that's something that Tony and Turnkey are going to go through in a minute. And as we find, and we're not going to be surprised, we're going to find this amount of reduction in air travel, this reduction, which corresponding reduction in greenhouse gases that have been emitted. Is there a way to continue this practice going forward? We've all learned to do things like Zoom. We've all learned to build relationships, not face-to-face anymore. We've all learned to do the types of activities we have to do without flying. And so what we want to do today is figure out, what is it that we've learned? What has the impact been? And can we take that going forward? And we have a great panel to discuss all of that today to help us get to that answer to the question. We're going to have with us, or we have with us, Tash Morris from Adamantem. She's their director for responsible investing. And I would say she is really the inspiration, both intellectually and culturally, to have had AIC bring this project on because of the work that she is doing and the work her fund is doing. So Tash, thank you very much for really being the reason we're all here together today. We also have Amy Krizanovic, who is a senior analyst for responsible investments for Aware Super. And she is also at the forefront and has been for years at assessing ESG when it comes to the private capital sector. And then we have the executive director for the Clean Energy Finance Corp, Rory Lonergan. And Rory is also going to be providing us, in addition to Amy, that LP perspective when it comes to reducing greenhouse gas emissions.